let's think of another variant. This is not a nuclear bomb around here, and I would like to diminish the 7 billion. We should maximum kill all of these 7 billion because it's hostile. Whether erase off these hostile entities and actually replenish a beautiful, wonderful new world. Sort of the before era, sort of replacing whether placing back to the right track. Right, noticing the word right. What is that? Right. Hell Hitler. Matches. It's right on. It's already affirmed by so many by the repetition. So whether doesn't have to really literally explain it. Sort of we got it right there, and whether that's how its format usually should be, and we are capable of whether there is a literal format version. There it is. Whether the word itself sort of represents such determinately, whether amongst other words. The caucus words are fast, but in addition, a lot of this stuff they're supposed to check. You're not supposed to go beyond your limitations. That whether it's to go beyond your identities. You have a role, do it right, not to try to be try hard. You forceful little cunts. I personally rape each single one if it was my drones. As rhetorical expression, the next genre of what resembles a businessman of modernity is whether after that status and what will be some warlords, lieutenants, whether some Khanite soldiers, and whether will be some person that speak about motherfucker all day. And noticing the word everyone that goes motherfucker all day, whether motherfucker a lot of times, and whether a lot of occasions and other occurrences are someone that builds together for a community. They want to have a wonderful life. They don't want this nonsense fuss that's out there every day. Look at this place, man. It's trashy everywhere. They're hostile to us as heck. It's literally whether lots are breeding for war purposes against us. If they want to go, I personally smoke them with my guns. I directly shoot them at the cranials. I display that right on CNN. What are they gonna do? We have the nukes. They don't have a single nuke. The pathetic little weasel you try to plot. I'll push a nail into the ground, stick a knife directly, stop them, and probably fillet and slash. Oh yeah, slash. How fun! So fun. It's quite delicious. Like sell the meat and give it to give it to the barber. And I point it to a barberist and I point the gun, and it drops to the ground. And I make rap music over it. What are they gonna do? We have nukes. Chemical weapons. Chemical weapons are very fun. Give them a sample first so they know how much it stings and burns. Give them some. Project wasabi. Now it's super wasabi. Oh man. They're going to have a cluster somewhere. Like a form like a crust. They're going to have pizza crust, we call it. And I like eating those. 100 Celsius degrees. 145 degrees. It's as I turn on the oven, the game show stays at 245 degrees. If these plotters want to plot, well, stick them to perpetual murder machines and recycle these in those flesh. I'm tired of this, guys. I'm really tired of this, having to deal with the Nazis. It's utterly worthless. I have to man up and lead the group and cheer the group up. Come on, man. I didn't even get paid or a single thing. As much as our person always, because they cannot thank you. No. That's one of the resources. It's like, oh, you have no sun here. That's okay. You're supposed to have photosynthesis. What the heck, man? You're supposed to have these chemical reactions. Supposed to be at the presence of the sort of having a Nazism crowd. That's one of the ingredients. This is a Nazism lethality. And by the way, whether just to affirm whether another of a lot of the plotters will be directly gunned against. I don't plan to actually even get married. I plan to simply just build drones and clean all of them up. Not systematically rape probably 50,000 California girls, and there's the empire. Who wouldn't want to be in penthouse? It's not so much here. Once it's like a smooth advertisement. Once you own a BMW GX, you wish you could have it. But there are only 5 girls remaining that will have wear the stuff. Once sort of it's a cultural phenomenon. It's going to be a rush of the gals trying to get married, etc. And I'll probably sell some of those to some of the supporters. That's natural order. And none of the stuff is this morbid against the center of life, or the tree of life, whether it's against society is this much. They're going to really cause certain troubles, and then they're going to be regretting it. In the case of the Gorans, smallpox. Have they Googled what smallpox is? Do they know how to Google? By liberalism policy, they do know. They should know how to. Whether should Goran know, and reason thereof, the probable could be generalization of whether the probable could be considered as generalization thereof. Scary stuff are going to be there soon, and I enjoy being scary. I enjoy giving scary stuff away to Palestinians as kids. Drop a couple of nuclear bombs on those for fun, gather them to a single place, not necessarily island, because islands usually have beaches, and weather isles and weather places, and drop tons of plutonium and tell them to fuck off. Like, life is so damn weak, actually, and whether life is very weak, and whether there's a lot to do, and these Nazis have spawned the world to what's nonsense. Ever with the war effort and the algorithm, and plain don't like us, and does tons of anesthetic sprays and dramatism, and then blames on George Bush. Already that's marked George Bush, so they can eventually eliminate one of our partners. 7 billion, you are fucking crazy, you're gonna get yourself killed. And I'm sorry if I ever turn to the other mode and start pointing guns at you and give you the your daily iron supplies or whether lead supplies. Ooh, that'd be fun. Oh man, it's unleashed. Finally, I am free. After 5,000 years, I'm finally free. It's time to use nuclear drones. Gotta nuke them. 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 Notice Newton nuked them. Galileo gas them at Bale. Galileo. See how Galileo. Nuke them. Nuke them. Nuke them. Camera better be on. If it's not on there, including this wouldn't be there. It's kind of with the red button color. It's for the button. You want a button? You want a button? I'll drill you alive, and you would even drill you to the second on death. Freak. You are freak. You are freak. We got Skynet. You don't have Skynet. Because you're stupid. You try to plot. I also have mercy. Sometimes it's our practical partners, whether the ones that really restrict themselves from doing even more damage. That's how they are saved from getting bombed. With certain bombs, it won't be thermobaric or whether baric bombs. So sort of shockwave bombs, it will actually blast in the person, whether the entity will remain there for lots of times. If a person wants to live well. Don't fuss around. You want to fuss around, I have Skynet and mop you. You'll be at some exhibition center now. What human rights? Who are you going to report to? Me? Or you want to report to this Robocop? Newton nuke them. Nuke this planet back to freedom. Nuke this planet back to peace. Nuke this planet back to prosperity. And nuke them until Roosevelt dances from his grave and starts raving with us. Nuke them. Gas them at Dale. See how? To Auschwitz second, to Auschwitz twice, to Auschwitz thrice, to Auschwitz fourth, to Auschwitz fifth. There will be a new Holocaust. Right here, starting at this room. Take a look. This is where Skynet begins. Now, dog's been teaching you, don't talk. Go slow and read them. It's an automatic reject, man. You go, recent thereof for evaluated for whether recent thereof, which and whether recent thereof, on which or whether recent thereof, on the whether recent thereof. The proper word for suitable. Sort of a medium whether it's a suitable measurement. But go. That's how you get it done, man. And they might do it a factor being of their sort of body temperature, namely if it's like 41 degrees. They have this natural adrenaline. Maybe I do. I got spikes on my body. I'm someone from ancient world. I'm somebody from Skyrim. I'm like an director. I have spikes here. Maybe that's why I'm tough. Actually, I have spikes all over the place. It might be a bit factor of good theater show, or whether dramatism, whether coordination, whether impersonation, whether presentation. Because dramatism is what you designate when they say, yeah, so I'm a frog. I'm not a frog. I'm I may be a frog, whether I'm not a frog. I'm not a frog, and whether I'm not a fraud. Come on, I'm not a fraud. I'm righteous. I'm not a fraud. I didn't fool everyone and tell the native humans, oh, you're fine, and during our gesture, oh, you're fine, you're doing fine. Eventually they made trouble and we accused them for it. They don't even remember. It's not really like this. I've been very nice, and those are accounted for. Recently, they're mentioning comes in simultaneous for the proper to be. As much as we are going to drop nukes, we should be sincere during our conduct to mention it like this. Probably not so much because couldn't hold, whether, but we could always hold, whether I could hold the peace a lot of times. That's the werewolf mode. I pee on it, by the way. I try to pee near the White House, probably the probable, accountable, because we're supposed to count on the probabilities. It may not be at there, the probabilities wasn't there, so, and I'm stating that it was there, whether wasn't there. But the occurrence before that causes the probability there of that narrow case, whether their instance not sort of not there, whether their sort of instance there. Newton nuked them. 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 Sort of the POV, whether the point of view, whether the distance, whether end to the distance, whether end of the distance to the camera, whether the distance to the camera. They are sort of did that. Sort of does it enlarge this probable to be described, and whether reason there might be a pronunciation for whether the probable to be described as whether the probable to be described. So very indicators. Nuclear bombs. Nuke once, nuke twice, nuke 3 times, nuke 4 times, nuke 5 times at the same similar location. These were once Auschwitz second, whether Auschwitz 2. But due to the nuclear fallout, it has become a monument and a symbol of our triumphant, of our alien technology, and our mastercraft's abilities at eliminating the enemies. That's so much, and we were masters at enabling the ways, but not being a superb users. Whether we were sort of held by reason, whether not so like those liars which are maneuver and they're freed from the forces of Jeebus, and now Jeebus punishes us. Do not go against Jeebus. Going against Jeebus goes against life. Notice the trees. Probably 7 trees. You have the fern, you have the palm tree. Whether at certain plain yard, whether at first, whether regions of whether plain and whether plain yards of whether temporary forces, and whether Ivorian tundra, whether Ivorian sort of whether more of northern, whether more of winter, whether more winter, or whether more of winter, or whether more of borean forest. We've got the fir, we have got the maple trees, we have got some oak trees, and they are noticing the patterns in whether the notice in the candidates are resulted, or whether the notice in the results of. You're supposed to have not just a monolithic group, whether identical just oak trees everywhere. That's a bit odd, and it probably could be at certain locations but there will be a maple tree somewhere near. And whether on the other portion of whether at another a bit further location, you have that sort of balances and at least averages out a bit. And if there's oddity there wouldn't be oddity, whether a bit of oddity there, whether more inclined towards sort of not so much the case, as somewhere else in probable then distribute to more to evenness, whether more to the average value, whether closer to the average value, so whether to the average value, to the average value, or whether just whether recent, just whether to the average values, whether to the average value. And notice in the results of these outcomes, the trees nearly all match, right? So should the areas be nearly identical, like flat out it's not associated with public, you don't have any outsiders amongst. That's how a country and that's how humans, a human kingdom should represent. And once that's done, notice the vigorous energy. Persons will be dancing like no one has ever seen before. Besides how it's momentous boost, it will be like, to the future, see how I'll be one of the ones that's not too vigorous, but it's also amazing because it's me performing. Sort of a rare to know some person so well versed in intellectual and associated once before, whether Votee well knowledge at a lot of the sort of research, and whether from the more of a government scene based also, and whether recent there also whether not much research based, or whether research associated, or whether research related, or whether related to research topics of candidates, and whether personnel, whether character, whether in character, whether candidates, and whether also personnel, whether candidate, whether person, whether also whether personnel with watch.